Good afternoon, everyone. This is John Cadigan. I'm the manager of the Trust Advisory Group platform, Tag 2.0, and I'm joined here with Faretta and Majka, who've recently partnered over the last year. And just wanted to get a sense of how the partnership has gone. But the starting question is, Larry, what prompted your decision to really transition your practice into retirement?
Well, age is probably the most dominant factor, or the inescapable movement at the clock. And it was time to start looking out for my clients and developing a succession plan that made sense. I wanted to get somebody that would get to know my clients in advance of my having to leave, either by choice or by emergency. And so I turned to someone that was very skilled in the industry, has had time in the industry, and perhaps you can address that in some of the other questions.
So you answered the question that your clients were asking you, what happens to us if something happens to you?
Precisely.
Obviously, Eric is here.
Precisely.
How were you introduced to Eric? How did this relationship foster?
Well, generally speaking, I'll let Eric address this, but do you recall precisely how you came to connect with me?
I'm friends with the advisor across the hallway from us. He's from our town, and I had asked him if anybody was looking, or if he knew of anybody who was looking for an advisor that needed help with their book of business, and he said he had known someone and had introduced me to Larry. That's how we became, how we met.
How would you characterize the partnership, and how do you organize the communication strategy with your clients?
The initial communication with clients was simply done by a written letter indicating that I had become a participant in Tag 2.0 and that I had reached out to Eric Majka as someone that would be a colleague of mine. And the communication largely was simply the outgrowth of that particular letter.
So what was the format of the agenda and the communication strategy with your clients, given that you have so many various clients?
Yeah, basically what I do is Larry has a list of all his clients in a database, and I just go down the list and call them and introduce myself and ask them if they would like to come in for a portfolio review, as Larry and I are reviewing all portfolios at this point in time. And everybody's wanted to come in and meet me, as well as speak with Larry, because of what's gone on with the pandemic, and people haven't been able to have a phone with Larry in some time. So it was a good way to reintroduce ourselves to our clients, and it's gone rather pretty well.
I also noticed that you've grown the practice from Larry's foundation. How did you go through that process?
So when speaking with clients, you ask them a lot of questions, and you find out and unearth either assets that they have and they haven't thought about, or they just, a lot of them just come out and say, hey, I have assets here, what should I be doing? Some are close to retirement, some are retired, and asking, what steps do we need to take for me to retire, or what should I be doing now that I am retired? So it's, that's been the process. We've been able to unearth a lot of new assets, as well as referrals, because as Larry and I started this progress, over a year ago, the clients have seen how this has gone. We've actually gotten quite a few referrals in the process.
And one of the things that has been really sort of a cornerstone of our meetings with clients is the fact that we're going through a transition, not just in terms of advisors and the potential of Eric becoming their sole advisor in the future, but also the fact that the industry itself is moving in the direction of fiduciary accounts on a fee basis. Much of my business has been old transactional business, confined by and large, not exclusively, but by and large to a single mutual fund family. And with Eric on board, we've been able to discuss making the transition to fiduciary accounts and broadening the scope of the holdings that clients might have. And also talking about capital preservation is a very important component within these managed accounts.
Can you quantify the impact to the revenue?
I cannot give you dollar amounts, but I can tell you that dramatically revenue has begun to increase. For the most part, as I said, my business had been transactional in nature. That meant, by and large, upfront commissions at the point of sale, and then after that, a 25 basis point trail was typically what I was receiving. Now we're moving into an environment where it's a 1% fee, and consequently the numbers are working, even though now I'm sharing, even though I'm splitting the flow of cash into the business or the revenue, I'm still ahead of where I would be under the old model.
That's great. That's good to hear. Any additional comments about the practice, your relationship that I haven't asked that you want to add?
I think it's been a symbiotic relationship. I think it's going well. I think that Eric has been a real motivator for me. He's been somebody that has made me work maybe a little harder than sometimes I was doing at the point of my senior years. He's much more inclined to reach out, make those calls, and get people coming in to appointments on a very regular basis.
Well, I know that you and your wife like to travel, and having Eric here really affords you the opportunity to travel once we are able to travel again.
Absolutely. It gives me a lot of latitude. As a matter of fact, I was away in the spring right after being vaccinated for 2 weeks in California, and Eric absolutely carried the ball and did it effectively and efficiently. And I might also add that Eric is very amenable to listening to my mentoring. I've learned a lot from him, but I think he's learning a lot from me, some of the nuts and bolts of conducting a general practice such as this one.
That's great to hear. So those of you who are not familiar with the TAG 2.0 process or platform, we really offer 3 levels of engagement. Option 1 is we simply take the valuation of your practice. We come to an agreement of what the valuation of that practice is using a third-party evaluation firm. That option can be canceled at any time with no penalty. It simply protects the value, and 80% of advisors don't have a backup plan, so they're literally practice goes to zero overnight. Second level of engagement is we allow advisors to streamline their practice by shedding their underserved clients. We've had a lot of that because of regulatory oversight, increased use of technology, and just COVID in general. And the last one is the option that Larry has chosen, which is the transition of the practice over a multi-year period. And it gives an opportunity to mentor Eric and get Eric up to speed with the existing clients. And it seems as though, well, that's been working out very well. And I wanted to thank you guys for today.
Well, you're more than welcome. It's a pleasure. And just to reiterate, I'm very happy with the outcome of our arrangement, and I look forward to continuing to work with Eric and TAG 2.0.
Great.